We're going to go ahead and get started. So welcome to the regular City Council meeting and Housing Authority meeting. Tonight is Monday, March the 2nd. We will get started. The time is now 6:30, so I'm calling the meeting to order. And so we'll stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance. Mayor Pro Tem, will you?
Sure. Please stand, hand over heart, ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to roll call. Madam Clerk, please take roll.
Councilmember Gama,
Here.
Councilmember Lopez,
Here.
Councilmember Perez,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez,
Here.
and Mayor McQueen-LaJean.
Here. And we're going to move to Councilmember Lopez for the inspiration.
Residents, council, staff, welcome. Growing up in a house with 3 older sisters and a mother, and now having helped raise 5 women and currently living with 5 women, I have a upfront row seat to a vital role women play in our lives. My inspiration today aligns with Women's History Month, a tradition that feels permanent, but yet is only been planted in the U.S. a few decades by those who refuse to let the contributions of half the human race become just a mere footnote. While the spirit of the month traces back to its first International Women's Day in 1911, the modern movement found its spark in 1969, right here in California. A woman named Laura Rand, who took the name Laura X, organized a march in Berkeley at a time when International Women's Day had been largely forgotten in the United States. She just didn't march, she achieved. She found that the Women's History Research Center, collecting nearly 1 million documents, Laura X famously argued that it is unfair for half of the human race to have just one day a year. She called for a full month, but around that central date of March 8th to ensure the records of women liberation movements were preserved for us today. By 1978, the momentum shifted to Sonoma, California, where the school district hosted its first Women's History Week. The local spark caught fire at a Sierra Lawrence College conference chaired by historian Gerda Lerner. When the participants saw that Sonoma had achieved, they took the blueprints back to their own communities, school boards, and city councils. This grassroots pressure reached the highest levels of the government. In February 1980, President Jimmy Carter issued the first presidential proclamation for National Women's History Week. His words still resonate today. From the first settlers who came to our shores, from the first American Indian families who befriended them, men and women have worked together to build this nation. Too often, the women were unsung, but the achievements, leadership, courage, strength, and love of all women who built America was vital as of the men whose names we know so well. President Carter reminded us that women's history is a right, woman's right. It is essential heritage for which we draw pride, comfort, and long-range vision. In 1980, we saw a rare moment of bipartisan unity for this cause. Senator Orrin Hatch, Representative Barbara Malitsky co-sponsored their first congressional resolution. By 1986, 14 states had already declared March as Women's History Month. Finally, in 1987, after a petition for National Women's History Project, Congress officially designated the entire month of March to honor the women who shaped our nation. As a community, we draw strength through the legacy of Susan B. Anthony and Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who are equally inspired innovators, civil rights activists, and public servants. Even more on this day, as we have public servants such as Mayor Martha LaJean McQueen, Mayor Pro Tem Laura Hernandez, Councilmember Misty Perez, and our clerk, Georgiana Alvarez. By honoring our true history, we better understand the urgent necessity of total equality. I leave you with this. Let us be the unseen thread for the next generation, weaving a future where every girl knows their potential isn't a gift to be granted, but a birthright she has already inherited. Thank you.
Thank you. That was great. Thank you, Councilmember Lopez. We're going to move on to the public comments. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comments not related to the items on the agenda?
Yes, first up is Greg Ross.
Good evening, Madam Mayor Pro Tem, Madam Mayor, esteemed council members. I've lived in Ventura County since 1970. Lived in Port Hueneme since 2000. I love this city, and I'll give you one really quick instance why. Our esteemed city manager came to one of our coalition meetings, HOA coalition meetings, and we discussed the parking lot at the end of the pier on Surfside. And gosh darn, the next day I had to go pick my daughter up at 9:45 p.m. And there's problems down there. And I think everybody kind of knows that. But there's a black and white right there because of James Vega putting the word out to Chief Federico. And this is what we've come to. I don't expect it, but it's so refreshing that the city takes care of our needs. So thank you for that. Now, you might say that I'm here with as Chicken Little. I'm anything but little, okay? But I've shown you this before. These are lithium ion battery fires. Okay, you each have a packet that I put together. I really used a lot of ink, I'm sorry. But I attended a meeting virtually via Zoom to the port on Monday. They discussed the fire protection for especially lithium-ion battery fires. Well, one thing I learned a lot, but first of all, when you go to that port meeting, you don't get to talk in the beginning. They make you wait through all of their stuff, and then you get to talk. Here and in the board supervisors meeting, county supervisors meeting, you get to talk in the beginning. So anyway, long story short, the emergency services, Gene Fong and Rodrigo Torres, they didn't have a way to protect us. I really hope you feel as strongly about this as I do, because this is the closest port to, on the entire West Coast, to high-density residential. Well, guess which way the wind blows? We all know it. Blows this way, Carpinteria to Malibu. And we're in harm's way. It's not just going to be lethal. It will kill people. And if that happens, you might as well cement the port over, because there will be legal action. So that's hopefully you read this packet, because I spent a lot of time on it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Hey, Cynthia Duque.
Hello, hi, good evening. My name is Cynthia Duque. For the record, I serve as the Director of Planning and Marketing for Gold Coast Transit District. Gold Coast Transit District, or GCTD, is a public transit provider. We serve the cities of Oxnard, Port Hueneme, Ventura, Ojai, and the unincorporated county areas between the cities. We provide local bus service and ADA paratransit bus service. Last year, we served over 3.6 million passenger trips. But I'm here to invite the community to attend upcoming meetings to learn about our proposed transit service changes and share their feedback. Our next meeting is this Thursday, March 5th, from 4 to 6 p.m. at the South Oxnard Library, followed by Wednesday, March 11th, here in this room in Port Hueneme, also from 4 to 6 p.m. These proposed changes are part of our short-range transit plan, or SRTP, which was completed and adopted by our Board of Directors in December of 2024. The SRTP is our 5-year roadmap that guides how we operate and improve transit service. It helps ensure that we are using public funds responsibly while adapting to the changes in ridership, travel patterns, and the community's needs and requests. These changes represent the first phase of implementing that plan. The plan is community-driven and combines public input with years of ridership analysis, service reliability data, and community growth trends. The goal is to improve on-time performance, strengthen route connections, and help the overall system work better for more riders. As part of any service plan, there are trade-offs. Our goal is to balance coverage, frequency, and reliability in a way that best serves the needs of the community. We encourage riders, residents, and community partners to attend, learn more about the proposals, have dialogue, ask questions, and share their feedback. Again, we have 2 upcoming meetings this Thursday, March 5th at the South Oxnard Library, and then here in Port Hueneme from 4 to 6 on Wednesday, March 11th. We'll also be tabling and having a lot of pop-up events, including here in Port Hueneme at the Health and Wellness Fair, 5K Color Dash on March 21st on Saturday. If you're unable to attend any of these events, we have a landing page found on our website. It's gctd.org gctd.org/MoreGo 2026 for more details. And always call our customer service open Monday through Friday if you have any questions. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you.
Joey Jimenez.
Good evening, everybody. Mayor McQueen Leghorn, Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez, City Council, City staff, and members of the audience. My name is Joey Jimenez. I am the president of the Hueneme Sister Cities Committee. It's been roughly about a year since we separated from the city, and I'm sure you haven't had an update in quite some time, so I'm here to do just that. I'd like to announce that our sister city counterpart is Puerto Vallarta. We're approximately about a year and a half old, and within that last year and a half, we've worked together and supported each other, learning about each other's cultures, traditions, festivals, educational exchanges, and more. I'm proud to announce that we've completed our first 2 fundraisers this year, and we reached our first milestone as well, and I'll let the guys share the news on that later on. As we grow, so do opportunities. I encourage you to get involved, to be engaged. Lots of ways to do that. There are sponsors, right? If you would like to become a sponsor at one of our events, I would encourage you to do so. If you'd like to donate, whether it's your time or your money, I would encourage you to do so. But more importantly, consider being a member of the Hueneme Sister Cities Committee, the program itself. Doing so will allow us to support our city, it will allow us to grow, and it will allow us to support this little city by the sea. Thank you.
Thank you.
Osvaldo Godina. And then Bobby Martinez, you'll be after.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Osvaldo Godina. I'm with Sister Cities, and so for my part, in the last 6 months, I was a subcommittee chair for our culture exchange program. So we got together, we had a couple of applicants in Hueneme and Puerto Vallarta, so I just want to share a little bit of that. We just came from Vallarta and gave out some prizes, which was really exciting. So we had 3 sessions with kids from Hueneme and Mexico over Zoom in November. We talked about our past, present, and future. At the beginning of these sessions, these kids were so timid, shy, and towards the end, man, we were all friends. Some of the kids in Mexico spoke English, and it was really great to see them working on their English with other native speakers. For the most part, I was doing the translation from English to Spanish and Spanish to English, and it was a lot of fun. Joey mentioned a fundraiser, so we raised money, and our kids here in Hueneme got $125, after doing the 3 sessions. And on top of that, they had to do a final project. We were very flexible, do an essay, do an audio message, do a Canva presentation, just present something, right? Ultimately, we had 3 kids from Hueneme complete, and then 3 kids from Vallarta complete. So we were there about a week and a half ago before the craziness over there, and we were able to present the prizes to the kids in Vallarta, which was really, really exciting. So it's been a great pleasure being part of the committee. I'm a resident of Hueneme. I've lived here my whole life, been part of the community, and it's just great giving back and being part of this group. Supporting our kids in Mexico as well. Some of these kids don't have too many opportunities to practice their English or opportunities to earn a little bit of money. On their end, they received $110, which is it was 2,000 pesos. So 2,000 pesos over there goes a long way. We were just really happy to meet the kids in person, shake their hands, meet the parents, hug the parents. Some of these kids, surprisingly, especially in Mexico, they were autistic, and it was a surprise to us because over the Zoom, they did such an amazing job, right? And then in person, maybe some of their behaviors were a little different, but it was great. We were happy, and I think the most rewarding part was seeing the parents and their reaction and how proudful they were for their kids to receive the recognition. So I'm excited to be part of this committee. I hope that we could move forward, and if in the future, if you guys could help us out in spreading the word in these programs, we would like to get into the school districts into the future and see if we could get more students involved in our programs. Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Mayor Martha McQueen Lejean, Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez, City Council, city staff, and members of the public. My name is Bobby Martinez, and I'm the Communications Director for the Hueneme Sister Cities. You can also think of it as the secretary. I just want to give a little update on our last trip, but before I do that, I just want to thank you for your support. Thank you for everybody that supported our most recent scholarship fundraiser. And thank you for waiving the fees last year to hold our first ever taco and music and games night. I think all of you were there, and I think it was a really fun event, seeing the kids play their instruments, the mariachi, the dancing, and I think it was really nice. We plan on doing it again this year, and this time incorporating the Hueneme High School students. And we were able to fundraise over $1,000 last year with that event. We didn't charge the kids that performed any monies. We didn't charge them anything for the food, so I thought it was pretty successful. We felt like it was really successful. And because of that, we were able to host our first ever multicultural exchange program, and it was also really successful. We had, at the end, we did have 3 students from here and 3 students from Vallarta complete the program, even though we had more students start with the program. Not everybody did all 3 Zooms. Not all students did the actual assignment, but we were able to give them all a prize. And we're saying prize now because we learned that in Mexico, if we say scholarship translates as beca, and a beca actually means like that you keep paying their school every single month. So that was a cultural shock to me, even because I'm from Mexico, but it was something that I just didn't experience growing up since I was raised here in the United States. So that was something different. So now we're saying prize. We're not saying scholarship. And if we want, we can say scholarship here, but maybe not for the ones over there, because I think they thought it would be something that was reoccurring. So we had to clarify that. But even though we only had 6 students complete the program and the activity, I think it was really powerful because they wanted to keep having more meetings. They learned a lot about each other. And we plan on continuing this program. So we plan on doing a couple more fundraisers, and we'll come back and let you guys know. But one of the things that we want to do is we would actually like to present something to council. So hopefully by the end of this meeting, you can put us on the agenda, maybe like a 10, 15-minute PowerPoint presentation. We got some ideas. And we just want a little bit more time to be able to tell you a little bit more about the Hueneme Sister Cities. But good job on the educational signs at the beach. I love them. You know, just I have a couple ideas on some more signs, but it's the teacher in me. But thank you so much, and thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
That concludes public comment.
Great, thank you. So we're going to move on to the approval of the agenda. May I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Great. Madam Clerk? Please take-
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously.
Do we have any members of council that have a conflict of interest to disclose regarding any item on the agenda? No? Okay, we'll move on to our presentations. First, we'll have Chief Federico to come down. And then we'll have Councilmember Gama to read the proclamation, and then we have another gentleman, and Chief, I'll have you bring the next person.
Yes, good evening, everyone. To receive this proclamation, we are asking Bill Boyd from Ventura County Sheriff's Office of Emergency Services to come up here. He's one of their emergency managers on their staff, but that's not where it started. Talk about a life of dedication to service. Bill actually retired as a sheriff's captain many decades working for the department, came out of retirement to join and help the Office of Emergency Services team. And when he did, one of the things he took on with a passion was the tsunami signage project. And it wasn't just coordinating the logistics. He had to get involved in getting the funding. And again, this wasn't a short project. This was a very involved project, and it took somebody with the dedication to see it through over a few years. Not only you're dealing with government, but he did it for the countyers, but he did it for our cities too, to make sure this got accomplished. And if you haven't heard, he had to deal with government employees. And if you haven't heard, sometimes government employees are difficult to deal with. So Bill took that project on, never took his foot off the gas, finally got it accomplished for us, down to making sure things got delivered right here to each city. I was very impressed with watching it. So weren't my peers in other cities. So that's why we asked Bill here, and I see his support staff. He's got other emergency manager, Kim Delacourt. He's got Patrick Maynard, the director. But it's an incredible team over there. If you get to know everybody that works in that office, they're not just the caretakers for the county, but they help all of our cities out too. So we appreciate them. Bill, we got a proclamation for you.
Would you like to have a few words first?
Well, it's been quite a journey. In fact, it goes back long before I started. In fact, it goes back to when Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez was Director of Emergency Services in about 2010. That's when the Tsunami Ready program was recognized by the National Weather Service. So it's a long-standing program. It's taken quite a bit of effort on a lot of other people in addition to myself. And I was just kind of the coordinator, but there were a lot of folks in the city of Port Hueneme and other jurisdictions in the county, so they deserve a lot of the credit as well. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So we'll go on to Councilmember Gama.
Thank you. I was going to show you what I saw this weekend at the beach, a sign that is very visible. And I hope people take this tsunami evacuation plan very seriously, because if you notice, mountains are pretty far away, and so the key is to get to high ground. And so it is something that I hope that we never, ever have to implement, but certainly considering where we are, you definitely want to be familiar with it. Tsunami Preparedness Week, March 21st through March 29th, 2026, whereas California's 2026 Tsunami Preparedness Week will be observed from March 21st through March 29th, 2026, and encourages residents to plan and register tsunami preparedness activities at work, school, and home. And whereas tsunamis are a series of powerful ocean waves most commonly caused by undersea earthquakes quake, landslides, or volcanic activity and can threaten life, property, critical infrastructure, and local economies in coastal communities. And whereas tsunami hazard maps for Ventura County show areas along the coast that could experience rapid flooding during a tsunami, underscoring the importance for Port Hueneme residents, workers, visitors to know where they live, work, and recreate in a tsunami hazard zone and how to quickly reach safe locations. And whereas state and national partners provide important tools of information, including tsunami hazards maps, preparedness guides, and the Cal OES My Hazards tool to help individuals and communities understand their risk, identify evacuation routes, and prepare emergency go bags. And whereas tsunami preparedness efforts emphasize recognizing natural warning signs of a tsunami, including strong or long earthquake shaking, sudden and unusual changes in ocean water level, or loud ocean roar. And stress the importance of immediately moving inland or to higher ground without waiting for an official warning. And whereas Tsunami Preparedness Week provides an important opportunity for residents, businesses, schools, community organizations, and visitors in Port Hueneme to review and practice evacuation routes, sign up for local emergency alerts, assemble emergency supplies, and share tsunami safety information with family, neighbors, and coworkers. And whereas the City of Port Hueneme works in partnership with the Ventura County Office of Emergency Services, Ready Ventura County, the Port of Hueneme, Naval Base Ventura County, and community organizations to maintain and improve tsunami planning, evacuation routes, public information, and emergency alert and warning systems. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the City of Port Hueneme, the City Council of the City of Port Hueneme hereby declares March 21st through March 29th, 2026 as Tsunami Preparedness Week in the City of Port Hueneme and urges all residents, businesses, schools, community organizations, and visitors to participate in tsunami preparedness activities, learn about local tsunami hazards, and take steps to ready for tsunami and other coastal emergencies. Proclaimed this second day of March, 2026.
Great. We'll have you all come up now. We'll get a picture. Did you want to go down?
Sure. Try to say tsunami 100 times. Whew.
One, two, three.
Yes.
Yeah, come on.
One, two, three.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks, everyone. We are going to move to our second presentation, the National Women's History Month proclamation, and we're going to have Councilmember Perez to read that. Yeah.
Thank you. National Women's History Month, March 2026. Whereas women of every race, class, and cultural background have made historic and ongoing contributions to the growth, strength, and character of our nation in countless recorded and unrecorded ways, including in public service, education, business, science, the arts, the military, and community life. And whereas women have played and continue to play critical economic, cultural, and social roles in every sphere of life by contributing significantly to the labor force, leading community organizations, caring for families, and shaping the values that guide our communities. And whereas women have been at the forefront of major movements for justice and social progress, including efforts to advance civil rights, expand voting rights, improve workplace protections, strengthen public health, and promote peace and equity for all people. And whereas the contributions of women have often been overlooked or undervalued in the teaching and study of history, and National Women's History Month provides a dedicated time to correct these omissions, elevate women's stories, and ensure that future generations understand the full scope of our shared history. And whereas Women's History Month grew from a local Women's History Week observance held in California in 1978, and in 1987, the United States Congress formally designated the month of March as National Women's History Month, a designation that continues to be recognized through annual presidential proclamations. And whereas in the city of Port Hueneme, women serve and have served as leaders in local government, education, business, the military community, faith communities, nonprofit organizations, and neighborhood groups, making vital contributions to the public safety, economic vitality, youth development, cultural life, and the overall well-being of our residents. And whereas National Women's History Month offers an opportunity for the city of Port Hueneme to honor the achievements of women locally and nationally, to uplift the voices and stories of women and girls in our community, and to reaffirm our commitment to equity, respect, and opportunity for all. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the City Council of the City of Port Hueneme hereby declare March as National Women's History Month in the City of Port Hueneme, and encourages all residents, business, schools, community organizations, and visitors to observe this month with programs, activities, and reflections that recognize, honor, and celebrate the many contributions of women to our community and our nation.
Great, thank you, Councilmember.
And I think all the women on council should take a picture with the proclamation.
Sounds like a great idea. Let's do it.
Let's do all the women in the building, in the room.
Everybody.
Included.
Come on, women, everybody. Great idea.
So where do we stand? Should we go in the back or what?
James, you gotta come out.
I know we did, James.
Oh, my God. Okay. Right there.
Should we just?
I'm not in the picture. I'm not.
We're in the back.
Pictures are my
I can be heard and not seen.
balance.
Ready?
Oh, my God. Okay,
trying to
sorry.
be-
Are we?
Who's and who's not, right? Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. I think you want a couple, right? All right, whose phone do I got?
All right. So now we're going to recess the city council meeting and call to order the Housing Authority regular meeting. The time is now 7:03. Madam Clerk, please take roll.
Member Gama,
Here.
Member Lopez,
Here.
Member Perez.
Here.
Vice Chair Hernandez.
Here.
And Chair McQueen Lejeune.
Here.
And let the record reflect that Member Brown is absent.
Great, thank you. Are there any public comments for the Housing Authority?
No public comments for Housing Authority.
Great, thank you. So we'll move to the consent calendar. We will enact the motion unless someone would like to pull an item. Any items to be pulled? If not, is there a motion and a second?
Move to approve?
Second.
Okay, Madam Clerk?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously.
Great, there are no business items, so we are going to call for reports. Are there any reports or comment? No reports or comments? Okay, we're going to now adjourn the Port Hueneme Housing Authority meeting and reconvene the City Council regular meeting. The time is 7:04. And we will, hold on just a minute. Okay. Okay, and so now we're going to move to the consent calendar for the City Council meeting. Are there any public comments for the consent items?
And no public comments for the consent calendar.
Great, thank you. Are there any public comments?
There are no public
There-
comments
okay,
for consent.
Okay, great, great, great. So can I have a motion and a okay, so is there any items need to be pulled? Anybody would like to pull any item? Oh, we already did that, sorry, guys.
No, you're
No,
good.
that was for the housing.
The housing,
Yeah,
right,
sorry.
right. So this is like, are there any items anyone wishes to pull from the consent calendar from the council meeting?
I want to pull consent item 2.
Consent item 2. Okay, anyone else? Anyone else? If not, can I get a motion and a second for items 1 and 3?
Move to approve items 1 and 3.
Second.
Great. Madam Clerk?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously.
Okay, over to you, Councilmember Lopez.
Yeah, my question is gonna go to Public Works. It's in regard to the M6 Consulting, Inc., which is the payment for the fuel tank replacement engineering design. In this, we had approved this in bit and pieces, and it was kind of unfair to see one charge, you know, to bring to the council like I think it was $116,000 for a replacement fuel tank, and then you know we knew we were gonna have to dig out the old tank, and then replace it with the new tank, and then get that put back in. So altogether, we're looking at near close to $500,000. I wish prior to bringing something like this in bits and pieces that you give the council the full picture of at least what we are expecting to fund. Because, you know, it's misleading. We're seeing bits and pieces, chunks of money going flying around. So next time, at least provide a clearer picture of the total cost of what you're anticipating, rather than the bit and pieces of this. And then provide options as well. I guess options off the top of my head would be an above ground tank at a different location, using credit cards for fuel, and then we're out of this business of, you know, 15, 20 years from now we're gonna have to dig this thing out again. So that was my only comment, and I guess my question is, next time, can you give us a clearer picture of what this was supposed to be, rather than chunks, bit, piece, parts? Because it's misleading for the council.
If I could just jump in real quick, because Fred can probably speak to this better than I can, but I just want to be clear. And I think perhaps it was maybe before you were on council, so maybe it was the rest of the council, but we did present this project to the council with the total cost estimated around $500,000. And we did talk about options, and in particular, I've been vocal to say that I was not excited about this project and spending these dollars, but I also have worked in cities where they tried to go to the gas card plan, and it led to, you know, a lot of problems, you know, trying to monitor that, making sure that it's being used appropriately, whereas having our fuel station at the Public Works Yard gives us the capability to have eyeballs on it at all times and make sure people aren't filling personal vehicles and things like that. But also it ensures that we have fuel if there's an emergency, because we have a priority contract to have fuel at the Public Works Yard versus having to go wait in line at the gas station, you know, long lines during an emergency, or getting told no. I've lived through that. I was city manager of a city during an emergency where the gas stations got shut off. So, you know, we talked about all of those factors. So we did bring it to the council. We did have that conversation. I think sometimes when the projects are really long, maybe a good reminder for us would be to kind of restate that periodically. But I just want to, I want to vouch for the Public Works Department that there was no intent to hide that information or to show it in bits and pieces. I think it was initial approval a couple years back, and then we've been bringing the parts of the project since then. But I'll let Fred correct me if I'm wrong about any of that. So.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council, staff, and members of the audience. City Manager Vega is correct. We did bring it. One of the challenges with this was actually getting the replacement tank. There's long lead times on the replacement tank. We had ordered it, but then with the timing of the removal of the project, we had to go back and ask if we could have them possibly hold it. So then there would be charges if we went too long. So we delayed and told them to go ahead and hold off on delivering the tank, which is now on the way. All of the things that the city manager stated are true. We did bring it all, but it is, we had a permitting system also that we had to go through, so we had to have inspections and all of that for a complete removal of the system. We'll have the same thing when we get the new tank in. They'll have to be on site while it's put into the ground, put into service, and then we'll have all of the permitting that will be based on. We'll be at their whim on when they come out and have time to go ahead and inspect. And the other reasons, like going to credit cards, which we did go to, which was part of our original thing, saying this is how we're going to get fuel while this system is down. We pay about probably $1 a gallon more right now for our fuel than we would if we had our system in place. So it can get really expensive very quickly. And there was a lot of factors that go on. So we've got everything out. We've passed all of that. Our permit has been canceled for our old system. We're in the process of getting everything else going, and we're expecting the tank to be here in June. So we'll have a few more months before we are expecting that we'll get started when we know that's on its way. That way, when the tank gets here, then we can immediately go to putting it into the ground, and then we can give firm dates for the county inspectors to come out and do what they need to do as well to make sure that the system gets back online.
Got it.
Maybe Mr. Vega or Public Works can send him what we got in the beginning to show him all the presentation that we
We can
received.
find the prior item, yeah.
Yeah, because what I remember, the first thing that on council was the 116, I think it was the tank, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the only brief I got.
And that's what, I mean, the budget was larger because we knew that we were going to have multiple steps to the project. So we asked for what we believe was going to be necessary to get the entire thing done. The initial part, we went out to get bids and did that. So that's why that's that first portion of it. The consulting and doing the testing and getting the system removed. And then now we'll go ahead, and once we get the tank closer to coming, we'll be coming back to award a contract for the installation of the new tank and the new fueling system altogether. We'll have a new dispensing system, new software to run the upgraded system. So that'll all be coming back to you guys when we get to that point closer.
Yeah, and then the one thing we haven't mentioned that I think we had talked about a lot when we brought it previously was that just the reminder that we have to remove the tank either way, if I remember correctly, because of essentially a state clean groundwater rules,
Correct.
right? So we had to remove the tank. So the cost to remove, we were gonna face either way. It was basically a question of, do we replace the tank or do we move to
Correct.
the gas cards?
And for all those reasons stated earlier, being a priority to get fuel, even when we switched to the first week, we switched over to the off-site cards, their system went down. So then we were chasing around where we could send people to go get fuel afterwards. So it definitely serves us better overall to have our own system because we have priority service for that. So,
Mayor, if I may?
Yes, Councilmember Gama was ahead of me.
Just curious, what's the tank made out of? Is it,
it's a polypropylene.
Fiberglass in it.
yeah,
yeah.
and then, so it's a matter of the state saying you can't use this type of tank anymore, or was it leaking, or was it just
No.
at the end of its life cycle?
Well, the state had a mandate to remove. We had a steel tank, so those were used back
Right.
when the system got put in, and it was a single-walled tank. So all single-walled steel tanks had to come out of the ground.
And then, so how long has the tank that you just pulled out of the ground been in?
I believe it was 1978 when it was put in.
Wow, it's a long time.
Almost 50 years.
And we've had other improvements to it. I mean, we had to replace parts of it, never the tank itself.
How big is it?
The new tank?
The new tank, the old tank? Yeah.
Well, we had two. We had a 4,000 gallon and a 2,000 gallon. Now we've gone to a single tank dual compartment. So we'll have, did we go smaller on one of the tank sizes? I think we kept them the same amount.
Nice.
Might have gone down to 3,000 on one of them just for space. Okay. So it'll be a single tank now rather than one tank. But I mean, even our old tank had a really technical monitoring system, so if there were leaks, it would send an alarm to the entire system, and we
Right.
know about it right away. And we have a designated operator that specializes in all that, and they came out and did monthly inspections of everything, so,
Well-
and annual inspections on everything. So there's certain things that have to be done yearly, every 3 years, monthly. There's a bunch of it, but we have what they call a designated operator that handled all of that for us.
So my last question is could there be a surprise when you remove the tank?
Oh, it's
In
out.
other words, oh, it's out. So
Yeah.
there is no spillage, leakage, and
No,
so,
we did all the soil testing, we did all of that. It had to be out of the ground by December 31st.
oh, nice. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. I think Councilman Lopez's point is well taken, in that when we have projects like that that come back to the council for approval, expenditure approval, whatever, that there's in the background of the staff report some history of, because this obviously has been going on for some time, just some history in the staff report to refresh our memories, because we don't always remember when, you know, the prior approvals, although.
Great. And I think our city manager has
Yes.
noted that,
Yes,
so
he
thank
did.
you.
So I
Great,
just wanted to
great.
get back to the point, because we were getting into the whole construct of the tank. I didn't want to lose that.
Okay.
Great,
So,
so,
thank you.
thank you.
All good?
Yeah, so, city manager, just, the background information, projections on total cost. And that way, at least things that happened 3, 4 years ago, at least I have a good understanding of what I'm seeing in the disbursements.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Great.
I just wonder how that's gonna look though, because we're having a conversation off the disbursement reports. So, right? So there's
Yeah.
a minor cost in there
So-
that's attached to a larger cost. So, I mean, how would,
So let me just say this. So I think what Councilmember Perez has requested that he be provided that information is that piece. And if we would encounter another situation like this, then we would want to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we'll try to keep in mind moving forward that if there's projects that have been going for a couple of years, to restate the history of
Yeah,
them. So-
yeah, great. All right, is there a motion and a second to approve this item?
Move to approve?
Second. Great, thank you. Madam Clerk?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously.
Great, thank you. We'll now move to our business items. We have authorized citywide spring cleanup event. Will staff please present the report?
Yes. So what you have before you, at the last meeting, February 17th, there was a request to consider a community cleanup, citywide event. So we had already been working on wanting to do something of that nature anyway. So what we've planned is to go ahead and hold that event with your approval on April 25th, with Earth Day being April 22nd. We thought that would be a good nexus with that. So we would have selected 3 locations. At the time the staff report was submitted, we had the beach park, Bubbling Springs, and Bulker Park. But after that, we realized that Port Hueneme Little League will be in season, and where we wanted to do it at Bubbling Springs would have taken the entire parking lot off park. So we're thinking now, and if with your approval, to go ahead and do it at the Recreation Center parking lot instead, which is same area, just a couple hundred yards down the road. To do that, and with this, we also plan on doing a free giveaway of bagged organic mulch, which is one of the things that we are required to do with SB 1383. So that's something that people can come out and start their spring planting or whatever they want to do with that. The proposal is to go ahead and have the event from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. of the actual drop-off slots, which will give us time to set up prior to the event, and then also be able to clean up after the end of the event and get everything delivered to the transfer station that's collected. For the most part, the items that will be able to be dropped off is anything that you would put in your regular trash, and beyond that, it would be, we'll take like large items like washers, dryers, mattresses, stuff like that. Anything that you aren't allowed to put in your regular trash won't be something that we'll be taking, like solvents, oil-based paints, solvents, stuff like that. And we have a list of everything that can and can't go in there, so we'll come up with some flyers and messaging to get that, so we can put it on the website and put it on social media, so everybody will be clear on what they can and can't bring. So, and with that, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Yeah, I think I want to take a question really quick. So, Councilmember Lopez, I'm just trying to connect where we are now with what I thought we were talking about at last meeting. Is what is being proposed here what you had in mind?
Correct.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Another question. So is there a specific, I know this is a spring cleanup, but was there a specific intent with the request, Councilmember Lopez? When you submitted the request, were you thinking about something specific that you wanted to address during the spring cleanup?
Someone who constantly walking in the neighborhood, I always talk to our residents, and they stated that we haven't had a spring cleanup in a bit, and why have we taken that program away? And so I looked into it and talked to the city manager, and then I was focusing on the cost, and really cost conscious on things. So initially, I thought the estimated cost would probably cost around $5,000, but there really is zero general fund impact because this is coming from a dedicated enterprise fund, which comes from the trash collection. So my thoughts were, there's money in that till this meets the pillars of what our charter says, and so I brought it to the council.
Great, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem had a question, and then we'll come to you.
Thank you, Mr. Camarillo, for following through on this cleanup event. I'm really excited about it. I like to see us doing things on Earth Day. That's always a good opportunity for us to do beautification projects for our city. I was wondering, in terms of how residents bring the bulky, unwanted, large items to the facility location, to any one of the 3 locations, will there be somebody there to help people unload? And I'm asking this because I remember when we were helping people at Wainimi Bay with their sandbags. These guys would come up, they'd want sandbags, but they had nobody to help load them. So
Yes, we will have staff there.
okay, so we'll have plenty of staff at all 3 sites.
To
Okay.
both accept items and then get them into the large containers that will be hauled away at the end, during the event and after the event. And then also, if people maybe don't have anything to get rid of but want to go get the mulch, and they will have people that will be able to help those that can't do it so easily, put it into their
Awesome, that's
car.
great. Good to know, thank you.
Yeah, do we know of, I do know of cities that would collect hazardous waste, because I think, and then there is a cost to dispose of it, obviously, but I think in terms of illegal dumping, so forth and so on, I think the hazardous waste is something that, did we consider, was it too costly, or?
It's something we used to do prior to, but then the rules changed, which is what they call now when you collect hazardous waste.
That's right, I forgot.
Cradle to grave. So
Right.
if we collect it and something happens to it ever, we own it, even though somebody else may have brought it to us at a collection event. So what we have set up is a contract through our solid waste contract with City of Oxnard, where we delivered all of our waste to Del Norte. Is Port Hueneme residents can go to Clean Harbors, it's out in Camarillo. So if they have hazardous waste, all they do is they make an appointment. You call in, you can take whatever, they'll take just about anything. You show up with like a utility bill or a driver's license, and then we have money already built into that through our contract, so we never come anywhere close to having residents take enough to where it would send us into having to ask for more money.
Yeah, I just think we should at least educate our residents how to dispose of hazardous waste, especially if it's just a matter of dropping it off. Because I helped a friend clear out a garage, and we took 2, 3, 4 truckloads of stuff. And so, you know, really bettering the environment is getting this stuff to where it's properly mitigated. So maybe we could have a flyer and just advise people, hey, this is what you could do, because a lot of people aren't aware that they could take it in for free.
Yeah, with the messaging, we can put that this isn't allowed, but if you have this, you can call this number, make an appointment, and they'll accept it free of charge.
Great, thank you. Any questions?
I don't, he answered my question.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
Mind if I just note one thing? Actually, in line with what we just talked about on the disbursements item and some of the projects that have long histories, we mentioned in the staff report SB 1383 requirements, and we did say that last week our last council meeting, we had said that we had estimated the cost at about $5,000, and then we noted in the staff report that we wanted to build some of our SB 1383 mulch related items in, so that would increase the cost to $10,000. So just to give, kind of realizing what we just talked about, and we didn't give the background on SB 1383, the short version is that was that new law that required, it was a state law that required agencies to take more steps to better handle organics recycling, and a lot of those have been implemented. I think it was a 2016 bill that was supposed to be implemented by 2025, but one of the last steps that cities are still struggling to implement, it's sort of an unfunded state mandate, is the requirement that the city actually has to purchase now certain tonnage of mulch. All cities have to purchase certain tonnages of mulch now, and then essentially we give that mulch away, and it basically helps the state and other agencies deal with recycling those materials better. We've been talking about doing a cleanup event, but we were struggling with how we were going to accomplish that SB 1383 piece, because it's a new thing that people are still figuring out. So we did mention, and I want to give some shout out to the Public Works Department, but it is what will increase the cost a bit, is that we want to try to roll out some of that at this cleanup event and actually start some of that mulch related, I guess it's a mulch giveaway really, right?
Yes.
So give that opportunity as well to people to come pick up some mulch. But again, just wanted to explain that, because that was something we had talked about like maybe 3 years ago, and it was probably adopted back in 2016, but we're still rolling it out. So,
Is it, you have a question?
It's more of a comment.
Okay, let's go ahead and go through. Is a question? Go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, I just had a brain tick. So you call, in regards to hazardous waste, residents call Clean Oceans?
Clean Harbors.
Clean Harbors. They get an appointment. They go in, they provide their zip code.
Yeah, identification that shows that they live within Hueneme, so like a
So
utility
then,
bill.
does the city of Port Hueneme get cradled to grave on those?
No, not in that case, because they're an authorized handler of the hazardous waste materials, so it's different with them taking it directly than us handling it as an extra middleman, so to speak.
Okay. I was just trying to brainstorm a way to collect more hazardous waste and get it to where it needs to be.
Okay. Do we have any public comments?
No public comments.
Great, thank you. Is there a motion and the second?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. We'll have some further discussion.
Yes.
Councilmember? Okay.
So to me, it's clear that and by the way, Public Works, thank you for doing a lot of the legwork on this, and a lot of feedback through the city manager that I got to receive, and to kind of move this into the council today, so I appreciate your guys' work. It's clear to me that the City Clean Spring Cleanup is a high-value initiative for the city. It meets the operational excellence, the proactive engagement, sense of community, and the service level standards that embodies our strategic plan. This combats illegal dumping. It encourages neighborhood pride. Totally supports SB 1383. Is the Earth Day synergy, and it's convenience for our residents. And to me, this is what. Yes, there is a slight cost, but this is the things that I think that our residents value, and they see our city as that small, tight community that we take care of our things. And so, again, this is zero impact to the general fund. SB 1383, I have a little more details on that. I went to an Agriman open house, and so all the green waste that goes into the landfill is intercepted at the Oxnard site, sent to Agriman to make mulch. And each city has their own program. They call the voucher programs, where Camarillo, you're allowed two vouchers per year, where you can actually go to Agriman and pick up mulch, and they take the tonnage away from the city. That's probably something that we should kind of look at, maybe. I'm throwing it out there. Or we have these kind of events so we can to take this tonnage that we're intercepting from the landfills. So I think this is a good expense to the city because of what it provides. So thank you. That's all I got.
Any other comments? No. We'll go to Madam Clerk for a vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Camarillo. Okay, we're going to go on to.
Oh,
you're
you're
still
sticking
standing there. We're going on to item number 5, Ventura Road Bicycle Lane Safety, Oversized Vehicles. And so I guess we're going back to Mr. Camarillo for the staff
Yes,
report.
Good evening again. I'm just going to do a quick intro, and then I'm going to hand it over to our Deputy Director,
Okay,
City
Charles.
Engineer,
Okay.
Charles Cable. This is at the request of a council member from an email that had been sent into City Council regarding bike safety. So this is kind of options of what, after digging into things, Charles has put together a lot of information on what some of the issues are related to this and how we believe are some of the steps that we can take easily, and then other ones that may require more consideration. And with that, I'll turn it over to Charles.
Test, okay. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members, and the general public. Tonight, I'm going to present a report on the Ventura Road bicycle lanes, the safety deficiencies, prior upgrades, and this, as Fred mentioned, this is being presented as a request from City Council, this report. In 2008, the Ventura County-wide Bicycle Master Plan was prepared, and as an appendix was added to it, to the master plan, included an analysis of the city of Port Huenemi's bike lanes. It included all the city, but Ventura Road is what I'm going to focus on here today. The report highlighted deficiencies at the time and recommendations to bring bike lanes up to Caltrans conformance. Ventura Road was listed as non-conforming bike lanes in both the northbound and southbound directions. Since 2008, the city has worked to bring bike lanes up to conforming standards for the respective class of bike lane. So there are 4 classes of bike lane. It is represented in the picture shown on the slide. I want to go over these because I'm going to be talking about the different designations that we have in Ventura Road. It's not entirely consistent. Class 1 is the safest option. It's a multi-use path, and it's the one in the upper left corner. It's the safest because it's separated by a buffer of landscaping or some type of barrier. The rec corridor is an example of a Class 1 multi-use path. And then we have Class 2 bike lanes, which is just striping on the street, and it's really on the shoulder. Depending on the speeds of the street, it could be 6 feet or 8 feet. I have it listed in the report. Then there's a Class 3 bike lane, which is where what southbound Ventura Road is, most of that's southbound Ventura Road. And that is where we share the lane, the bikes share the lane with the vehicles. And then there's the Class 4, which was added after they came up with the Class 3s, Class 1, 2, and 3. And Class 4 is the second safest because there's actually a barrier, man-made barrier for bicyclists only. It's not a shared path. So this is a map of the different designations we have on Ventura Road. It shows both southbound and northbound. Northbound is shown in blue as Class 2, and that's, like I mentioned, it's the shoulder, there's six or 8 feet for bicyclists to use. That goes all the way down from Surfside to Channel Islands. Southbound Ventura, which is on the left side, is shown as it's primarily a Class 3. It's shown in red from Channel Islands to Pleasant Valley, so it goes the whole way as a Class 3. But the city has been making improvements to widen the sidewalk. And I apologize, in your packet it shows Class 3 in green. It's actually Class 1 is in green. So you'll see that in the packet, but right here it's correct. Between Sunkist and Pleasant Valley, it alternates between a Class 1 and a Class 3 because we haven't fully widened the sidewalk. We have about 1,300 feet that's not widened or in compliance with the Caltrans Class 1 standard, which requires 8 feet. So that's what this diagram shows. Now, south of Pleasant Valley on Ventura Road, there's actually on-street parking. So that's shown there, Class 2 in blue. South of Port Hueneme Road, it's actually a time-limited parking. So I think you have 2 hours there. But there is, in this study, we've identified issues with some of the parking. Oversized vehicles tend to be an issue for bicyclists. So this is southbound Ventura Road. You can see where the sidewalk is kind of widened and where it's actually not as wide for a bicyclist. So this is why it doesn't conform to Class 1. But you'll see that there is, it's Class 3 all the way through that third lane. The city's widened for it's about 10 feet to try to make it Class 1, but there's a stretch right there that's not compliant, like I mentioned previously. Northbound Ventura Road is, like I mentioned, Class 2 bike lane, and there's plenty of space for bicyclists to use the bike lane. The picture on the bottom left actually shows a shuttle encroaching into the bike lane, and you can see that there isn't quite enough space to make it a Class 2 conforming bike lane. I think I measured it was about 1.5, 2 feet with the shuttle, but if there's an SUV parked there, you get 4 feet or 4.5 feet. And in this stretch, I think it's only required to be I'm positive it's only required to be 4 feet because of the speed limits. As you move further north, the speed limits are higher, so then they have to be 6 feet. That's what that top image shows. Here's another picture of an oversized vehicle encroaching into the bike lane. So there are some things we can do to make the bike lane safer for the residents. The recommendation is to maintain the existing Class 2 lanes on the northbound option, but we also could look at updating the municipal code to prohibit oversized vehicles encroaching in bike lanes. And this picture demonstrates why that might be something the council is interested in. Improvement options for southbound corridor. This is another thing. We should probably maintain the Class 3 bike lanes until the Class 1 upgrades are complete. That way riders have the option to either use the Class 3 lane or go on the sidewalk and use a shared use path. There are some issues with this, some challenges, because we don't have all the right-of-way. The Navy base owns owns the space that would allow us to make a Class 1 bike lane. So we wouldn't be able to do that between Channel Islands and Sunkist. The sidewalk there is narrow to make it a Class 1. So that's why it's a Class 3. And then this 300 feet, if you could see on that photo, the map on the left, there is a right turn lane that's not being used by the Navy base. We'd have to coordinate and study what it would take to remove that right turn lane. It's not currently being used, but we could program that into the CIP or something we can look into if the council is interested. So in summary, something that we can do quickly to improve bicycle safety is work on an update to the municipal code if the council chooses, regulating oversized vehicles in the bike lanes from encroaching the bike lanes. And we can also program into the CIP exploring the option of going to a Class 1 or continue the project of making Ventura Road southbound a Class 1 bike lane. Oh, one thing I want to point out that when we started making the Class 1 bike lane on Ventura Road, there is signage that instructs riders to share the path and use the sidewalk because it is a safer option. It is the safest option for bicycle riders. And that concludes the report.
And Mayor, if I could just add a couple points too, and like our Deputy Public Works Director mentioned, as we looked at this and we started to see the impact that those oversized vehicles had, we were looking at this in response to a complaint received on, I think it was May 17th, 2025. That was when we received that initial complaint. And in that period that we've been trying to look at this and try to figure out options, we've also started getting more complaints unbike lane related, but just complaints from drivers or residents or even neighbors about the shuttles vans being parked and the campers being parked. And so that led to us all meeting with all the departments involved, police department, parking enforcement, and everybody to really talk about that. And what we realized is our oversized vehicle regulations really are just outdated and really not, they aren't drafted to be able to allow us to really address like modern oversized vehicles. It's kind of written old fashioned, in a different way. We were talking about things like, weight restriction, whereas now there could be especially with electric cars and batteries, there could be a sedan that is now over the weight limit, but there could be a oversized vehicle that's not over the weight limit. So we really just started talking about it and realizing that that is actually a tool that could help us on a bunch of fronts, but it also directly spoke to some of the issues raised by that resident back in May of 2025, where the way they had phrased it, and we're trying to extrapolate from what they said, but is that they were, the vehicles were getting too close to the bicycles, and you can see from those photos that it's the factor that I don't think people are looking at is because those oversized vehicles are pushing them. You're in the lane to go around those vehicles. So that's really where at the end of this all, we think for multiple reasons, getting authorization from the council for us to move forward with the city attorney's office to draft new, better oversized vehicle restrictions will actually let us address this issue, but also respond better to those complaints and things that we've received from other members of the community about some of these oversized vehicles blocking people's line of sights or bike lanes or whatever it may be. So we just wanted to explain that and then explain how it tied back to that May of 2025 complaint that we had received. So.
Mayor, can I
Great,
ask a question
thank you.
about that?
Yeah, we'll take questions now. Go ahead.
So I'm not a fan of obviously oversized vehicles, but if we do that, where are the oversized vehicles going to park?
Yeah.
Isn't that a business right there, and those are their commercial use? Where are they going to go?
Yeah, so there was a couple of factors we talked about that we don't have all the answers yet. I think what we had talked about was, are we limiting this? These are things that the council could also weigh in on. But are we limiting this to just Ventura Road because that's where we received the complaint? Or is it something that we should look at citywide and look at just, ensuring that oversized vehicles aren't blocking bike lanes throughout the city. And then obviously we know there's some parts of the city where parking is at a premium, and parking might be more of the neighbors' concerns than, some of the other issues. So there are some factors in there. And so we kind of came to the conclusion that for now, we would ask the council to authorize us to look at it and try to put together a solution and a code change that we could bring forward, but sort of admitting that right this minute, we don't have all the answers, and it's going to be part of, as we're working on it and trying to figure that out. We do think that we know where those shuttles are coming from. So we were, as part of that, one of the things we would do is actually reach out to that company and find out if there is somewhere else they could park those vehicles. And that's something that we could do too. So for now, I guess the short answer is that those are factors that we are going to try to analyze while we're writing the potential code change.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Councilmember Lopez?
Yes. Question. On Ventura Road, specifically Ventura Road, has there been any deaths from a bicycle rider? Like, being crashed?
I looked at the last 10 years of data, and it's all through Ventura Road. Bicycle, I only looked at bicycle accidents. I didn't look at deaths. But there have been I have it written here.
We know of one death.
Oh, okay. There was 3 bicycle collisions near B Street, 3 in the park area where it intersects, and 4 at Sunkist.
Because I do recall in the last 10 years, maybe 1 death on Ventura Road from a person commuting out of the base.
Oh,
he
okay.
got run over. So to me, the southbound area of Ventura Road is the worst, and it has the widest sidewalk along that perimeter. Like, that would be an excellent area for was it level 1?
Yeah, class 1.
Again, it does require work with MBVC because I don't know how much property they own to the gate, but to me this should be like a ready, set, shovel project, ready to go if we can find a grant to widen that road. But at the same time, taking all the things that we can do now. Yeah, that's all I have. But thank you. Good work.
You have anything else? Councilmember Perez? Go ahead.
I think it's my understanding that RVs, oversized vehicles, have a limitation for parking on anything but Ventura Road. I have an uncle that got a ticket or something like that for having his motorhome on the street for. It just strikes me a little funny that on the one hand, we don't allow oversized vehicles to be parked on a residential street, but on Ventura Road here, because it really is a safety issue here, coming right out of here when there's 5 of those shuttles, and then we don't even know who are they. Are they paying taxes in Port Hueneme, or are they just parking their vehicles there? And it does create a safety hazard just for drivers, and then clearly for bikers as well. So I just hope that we could move on oversized vehicles and also try to determine why those shuttles are there and find another place for them.
Do you have anything? Okay. All right, great. Go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
Just a quick question. I couldn't find it in the staff report, but what's the Muni Code section that would be updated?
We can send that out to council. We didn't put it in the staff report, so I don't have it handy, but we can send that out to council.
Thank you.
We were going to add a section. The municipal code states for vehicles over a certain weight, and that's what James mentioned. So that probably would need to be updated too. But we're going to add a section restricting oversized vehicles, if the council wanted to do that.
We can send that language about what's in there now.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
Great. If there are no other questions, do we have any public comments?
No public comments.
Okay, great. So we have before us a recommendation to receive this information report on the Ventura Road bicycle lanes and direct staff to prepare oversized vehicle regulations and to consider potential additional improvements in future capital improvement project plans. Is there a motion and a second?
Move to approve. Second.
Great. Any discussion? Further discussion? Madam Clerk?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously.
Great, thank you. We're going to move to item.
Thank you.
Great, thank you for your report. We're going to move to item number 6, City of Port Hueneme Legislative Platform Council revisions. City Manager?
Yes, thank you. So this is a continuation of the discussion from our prior council meeting. We had brought forward last year's legislative platform with the Citizens Advisory Committee recommendations related to that platform. And so at that meeting, the council, if I could just have the mouse, I think I just need the mouse. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. At that meeting, the council had discussed some potential changes to the legislative platform. There were a few different ideas discussed, but I think where we ended up was there was some reference to utilizing some of the language from the County of Santa Barbara's platform, particularly as it related to 3 areas, and I'll just show those now. They're in the packet with the changes highlighted. So it was adding this section here regarding comprehensive immigration reform, supporting legislation to enact comprehensive immigration reform that improves and simplifies the current legal immigration system and includes a national strategy for coordination among federal, state, local, and tribal authorities. The second proposed changes were group of changes were to the environment section, supporting legislation that facilitates infrastructure improvements and climate adaptation measures that mitigate the impacts of natural disasters and extreme weather events, including flooding, wildfires, earthquakes, and sea level rise. Enhancing long-term resilience and supporting advocacy for regional sediment management programs to develop and implement local jurisdictions' sea level rise policies and programs consistent with Coastal Act requirements and support beach nourishment projects. And then there was so the immigration, the environment, and we had talked about changing cap and trade being an outdated term, so it's updated to cap and invest. And then the last section was the oil and gas infrastructure safety and compliance section. It's a little lengthier, so I won't read the whole thing, but adding support for legislation to incentivize upgrading aging infrastructure related to oil and gas companies, and allowing for stronger enforcement actions related to those uses, and providing comprehensive financial assistance for disaster response for those companies. So oil and gas infrastructure safety and compliance was the third category. Other than that, I believe that was everything. So those were the 3 areas we included the changes directed by council. We noted in the staff report that subsequent to the meeting, we did receive additional language, so that's included as attachment B, additional proposed language. We included, like I said, in the platform itself, we included the language that was discussed in the meeting, but it's up to council whether to discuss or consider any alternative language. And so with that, we were prepared and we're proposing this language for the legislative platform, and we'll answer any questions from the council on that. So.
Any questions? Go ahead, go right ahead. No,
Thank you for capturing all of that and making those changes. When I looked over all the changes, I was happy with everything, and then I saw attachment B, and then I like some of the things that were in here as well. So I'm not sure what council wants to do with attachment B. What would be staff's recommendation, if any?
Yeah, I mean, these are policy questions, so which is why, the last meeting, we just brought the prior version of this and the CAC's recommendations. So all of these are alternative language suggestions for so those same areas. So it's purely a council choice of what language to include in council policy.
So none of these except, let's see, the comprehensive immigration reform, that's in there. It seems pretty similar to The attachment B language sounds similar to what we have in there. Do we have something on advancing social equity, environmental justice?
We included the environmental language we talked about. I don't think there was anything specifically for social justice, and I think.
Or social equity?
Yeah, or social equity, yeah.
Okay. Because that term is used in our general plan, so I think it would be fine to use that. And let's see here. I think we captured a lot of what's in at least the bottom half of the page of attachment B. I'm sorry, I'm working backwards. Oh, you know, the one to enhance public safety by fostering trust between law enforcement and all community members, ensuring that victims and witnesses feel safe reporting crimes. I think that's an important one to include. And then the confidentiality of residents when accessing municipal services consistent with state laws. I thought that might have to do with the flock cameras, but it doesn't. I don't think it really does it?
Potentially, but just taking a step back, what this would allow us to do, right, is advocate if the state or federal government were proposing, or League of Cities or, an entity like that were proposing making changes related to that area. So, it could, if for example, if League of California Cities was going to ask the state to adopt, or federal government to adopt, additional privacy measures related to flock cameras, then we'd be able to submit those letters, with that in here. I do want to note, just for everybody, that just because it's not in the program doesn't mean that if something came up, because there will be something that comes up this year that isn't on anybody's minds right now. So just because it's not in the program doesn't mean it wouldn't come back. It just means that we'd have to come to council for it. So.
Okay. All right, well, I'm fine with it.
Any other comments?
No, I do have a comment. I was just,
Questions, I'm sorry.
no.
Any other questions? Okay. Okay, if there are no other questions, is there a motion and a second to authorize, make sure I'm on the right one, no. This is, let's see, the recommendations to review the proposed revisions of the city's legislative platform, which are developed pursuant to the council direction, and approve a revised document that will provide guidance and allow staff to advocate for the city programs and priorities. And because there are no questions, I'm going to ask for a motion and a second to approve the current legislation as written.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, great. Do we have any public comments?
No public comments.
Okay, great. Any discussion?
Yes, so we are approving or doing a motion to approve the staff recommendation. I just want to talk about attachment B, that a lot of these things are already encompassed in our legislative platform as is. For specifically, like the first one, that's pretty much encompassed on page 8. The support efforts to enhance public safety, that is on page 17. I think that encompasses it pretty well. The support regional collaboration, that's on page 9, I believe. I think we have a really good start for a legislative platform that really talks about this stuff. And it gives us a wide range to where it's not as specific, it's general, so we can add these in. And if anything comes up later, we can talk about it then.
Thank you, that's helpful with pointing out the page numbers. Appreciate that.
If there are no other comments, Madam Clerk, please take roll.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously.
Great, thank you. We're going to move to item number 7, joint use agreement between the City of Port Hueneme and Oxnard Union High School District. Staff report. Correct?
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, members of the public, city staff. Agenda item number 7 pertains to a proposed joint use agreement between the city and the Oxnard Union High School District. The agreement would formalize and streamline the cooperative joint use relationship that currently exists. In 2022, when the city launched its Learn to Swim program, the district allowed the city to use the swimming pool at Hueneme High School at no cost to the city. Similarly, the city council has waived fees for district uses of baseball fields
that the city has at its parks. Most recently, Del Sol High School was approved to use Bubbling Springs Park Field Number 3 for its spring season. Given the ongoing relationship and consistent collaboration, staff is proposing formalizing a joint use agreement, which is a tool that is commonly used between cities and school districts. Establishing the agreement would formalize the joint use process and increase operational efficiency by eliminating the need for each individual fee waiver request to be prepared, agendized, and presented to council for consideration. At this time, the agreement's scope is limited to the city's use of the Hueneme High School swimming pool and the district's use of city baseball fields at Bubbling Springs Park. If other facility needs arise in the future, a proposed amendment would be prepared and presented to the council for consideration. Key elements of this agreement include no fees would be charged to either party for the identified uses. Each party will remain responsible for maintenance and utility costs associated with their own facilities. Each party is required to provide insurance coverage as required by the other party. And the term of the agreement is proposed for a 5-year term, subject to one 5-year extension. In summary, the agreement formalizes an already successful partnership that benefits many community members and provides administrative efficiency while maintaining appropriate oversight. The staff recommendation is for council to authorize the city manager to execute the joint use agreement. That concludes the presentation. I'm available for questions.
Great. Does council have any questions?
I had a question.
Go ahead, Councilman.
So Del Sol, are they just practicing there, or are they actually playing games?
When we reserved the period of time that they requested, they told us it was their intent that they would not be playing games there, but they did reserve enough time to play games should the need arise. But right now, the thought is that they would not play their games there.
Okay.
I have a question also.
Anyone else on the side? No? Go right ahead.
Thank you. On the issue of item number 13 of the report, fingerprinting and criminal background verification. One, does this extend to volunteers that volunteer with our city? Do they have to go through this fingerprinting and criminal background verification if they're working with the program?
Unrelated to this request, the answer to the background process for volunteers depends on what type of volunteer. If it's an ongoing volunteer associated with a service, there is a more comprehensive background process that does include background checks. If it's a one-day volunteer for a single cleanup effort, those requirements are not in place.
Okay. And then who tracks this to make sure that people's backgrounds and their fingerprinting, I don't imagine that changes, but that these records are on file and maintained?
For the city representatives that would be on district property to perform city programs, the city is responsible for tracking the backgrounding process when part-time, full-time, or volunteers, if that were the case, are onboarded. And the same is true for the district. The district will be responsible for keeping track of the backgrounding of those individuals responsible for their programs.
For the city, is it at the department level, or the risk manager does that, or who does
It goes through the Human Resources Division, so they handle all of that and keep the files.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, just one question for me. In the area 14, liability insurance, when it goes down to section B and it has the list of all the sexual abuse, molestation, is that something additional we have to have because we're now moving into this agreement, or is that something that we already have?
It's part of the coverage that currently exists through our memorandum of coverage with our insurance authority.
Okay, great, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, so we have do we have any public comments?
No public comments.
Thank you. So we have before us a recommendation to authorize the city manager to execute the joint use agreement between the city of Port Hueneme and Oxnard Union High School District. May I have a motion and a second?
Move to approve?
Second.
Great. Any further discussion?
Just some comments.
Go.
I think the staff are forward-thinking and streamlining this and reducing redundancy, having to keep coming back with. As you mentioned, every time, might as well have it straight out. That way, any other schools in the future is probably a repeat contract anyway, or repeat provision, so why not do it all in one? So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I just wanted to, I spent some time with the new Del Sol coach and some of the players, and I do believe they tried to play on February 17th, but got rained out. I think they're going to play in Bubbling Springs. But anyways, they're happy. They're excited to start their season, and is this thing working? Jeez.
Maybe that's why.
That's the other one.
Okay, thank you.
We hear, but we have a background, like,
Try it now.
Yeah. It's good. It's all good.
Got two
Works.
mics now.
I got that other one off.
Right.
Yeah, so my understanding is that Del Sol, if everything goes correctly in May, they may be able to have a few games at their new facility. So anyways, the coach, the players that I've met, they're very excited to start the way they are starting, and they're looking forward to next year because they'll be seniors.
Do you have anything?
I have some. Yes, so two comments. One, when we go use the Oxnard facilities, it would be wise to have like a checklist to say, hey, we left it better than we were leaving it, you know, so that they don't come back and say, hey, you guys wrecked this. So I guess really, is there people other from the OHD there while we're?
There are.
Okay.
There are maintenance staff there that actually unlock the gates and allow us to enter. And we do have contact. Our plan is to conduct a comprehensive assessment of the condition at the beginning of the season and at the conclusion of the season. And we are in communication with representatives from the district. If there is an issue, we show up and the pump's broken or the filter's broken or there's a huge broken piece of concrete or something like that. We have the ability to kind of notify them, hey, we arrived. This was the condition when we arrived for the issue that you're getting at. For clarification of not our responsibility, we found it this way.
Yeah. And then lastly, like the Phil Little League, that snack bar, are they at least taking advantage of Del Sol while they're there? Or if they play a game, have you guys reached out to them?
Yeah, we have. The league has told us that their focus is to provide snack bar services when they have games. So they're aware that Del Sol's there, but frankly, that's an option they have if they have the resources and the ability to offer food when Del Sol's there. They'll do that, but their focus is during their games.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Great. Any other comments? If not, Madam Clerk?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously.
Okay, we're going to move to item number 8. Item number 8, City Council appointment to City Port Standing Committee and discussion of committee tasks. City Manager, over to you.
Thank you. Yes, this item was placed on a prior agenda. I think it was the agenda 2 meetings ago. Is just something that we do annually. Is typically we appoint 2 council members to the Joint City Port Committee. When we placed it on that agenda, we ended up continuing it, and I had noted at that time that we were recommending continuing it because we had been informed that we would receive a proposal from the port that could potentially eliminate the contractual requirement for a joint committee. I know, there's been conversation about, whether the committee would exist without the contractual requirement as it had at some points in the past. So that's something that we can still discuss, but at that point, the conversation had been that the contractual requirement for the committee was potentially going to be proposed to be eliminated. And so we had recommended continuing the item, and then we actually did receive that proposal. Well, we didn't receive that proposal prior to last meeting, so we said we'd bring this item back to make the appointment to get into compliance. But we have received the proposal since then. We actually received a proposal on Friday afternoon. So we will be able to discuss that and consider that in the future. But we had put this item back on the agenda to make the appointment of the two, and we recommend at this point assigning the two committee members essentially, for, if nothing else, because I don't think any meetings are scheduled at this point for the time being, and from sort of either side, but assigning the committee members so that we're in compliance with the agreement that is currently in place that requires each agency to have two committee members while we work through the proposal with the port to potentially modify that. So just as a reminder, just because the proposal was made now, it doesn't mean, because there hasn't been an agreement, the existing contract stands, in other words. So as of now. So again, we aren't planning to hold any joint meetings. I think in the conversation with the port is neither party at this time has any urgent need to hold a joint meeting, so there aren't currently any scheduled unless directed by the council. But we recommend having the committee essentially just to be in compliance with the agreement. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. I know that probably was more complicated than it needs to be. So.
Any questions? Any questions? Okay, so let's. Okay.
So did I hear you say that you received a proposal not in time to be in the agenda package? Are you going to share that with us, or
Yes.
Or how are we going to move forward with the council being able to review, discuss whatever it is they sent over?
Yeah, so we received it Friday, I think it was about
5:15 p.m.
5:15 p.m. So it was less than it was less than 72 hours before we would have been able to get an agenda, put together with the meeting on Monday. So we didn't receive it in time to have it as part of our discussion today, but the city attorney and I are planning to review it and then figure out the path and process to have a discussion with the council about it. So, and there's a few ways that could look, and we don't know which one it is yet.
It'll certainly be on an agenda.
Yes, but the how it would be on the agenda, what would it be agendized as, all of those things we still need to crystallize. So.
Yeah, I just would say I think we need to have a public, open public meeting to discuss and review.
You have a comment? Go ahead. A question?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So, I did send a copy of a January 25th, 2025 memo to the city manager and to the city attorney. It is a memo from the port to the Joint City Port Committee, which clarifies the role of the Joint Committee, and then has attached to it copies of the agendas that go back as far as 2009. The document basically shows that there were items for discussion prior to the 2015 Community Benefit Fund. I asked for that document to be shared, but apparently there were some issues about potential Brown Act violations for sharing the document, even though it was sent to the City Port Committee last year, and it's in our archives. So with that, my question is, since there is precedent showing that there are other items that can possibly be included under the responsibility of the role of the Joint Committee, couldn't we just discuss that tonight? I mean, is this amendment going to change the nature of the discussion in any way?
Yeah, I think my recommendation is not to get into that level of detail now, because I don't think we know what is being proposed to be on that committee's task list. you know, starting with, the obvious one is community benefit fund, right? And it's just, like I said, we know now the current contract says that the committee needs to meet yearly to review the community benefit fund, but now this proposal that we received on Friday is a proposal that says, you know, it's proposing not having that anymore. So I think at this point, we don't know what the committee's going to be doing. We don't know. I guess just from my perspective is I can't recommend right now what topics the council should give the committee because I don't know what's going to be contractually required for the committee. So the council could discuss it. I just think that at this point there's too much unknown that it's sort of a speculative conversation, but it's a council choice.
So my follow-up question to that would be, just because it's not contractually required under the settlement agreements or revenue sharing agreements, would that be a reason not to have a committee when there are other items for possible discussion, such as aligning ourselves with their strategic plan, their vision, talking about, pardon? I'm sorry, you'll have a moment to ask your question. Let me just finish. The things that you've listed here, port and community security considerations, not all these things I think are in the settlement agreement, so, and joint advocacy efforts. So I think there are some things that we can point to, and we don't have to discuss this tonight. Maybe we need more time to think about it, but I think that before we get into the appointments, we do need to talk about what the tasks are going to be. I do agree with that. But I'm concerned that if we limit ourselves to only those things that are contractual, we're selling ourselves short.
Yeah, so just quickly, I'll say, and I think we kind of talked about this before, and I think I recall when we did talk about it, that it was very clear to the council that the council was going to be responsible for determining what we spoke about. I think we talked about that at length, right?
So,
And so the other thing I'd like to say is, so as city manager said, so right now, we are complying to the contract by having a city port representative, right? And so I know you're saying maybe we could wait and talk about it later. I don't think we have to wait on that because that's something.
No, I'm saying we shouldn't have to wait because
Okay.
it's not contractual. It's not in the contractual agreement. We
Right.
shouldn't have to wait because not everything should be in the contract. I mean, there are other things outside the contract.
Absolutely,
So-
right. Okay, just want to
Yeah.
make sure we're clear. But those items will come from this body
Of course.
of what we're going to, okay, got it.
Of course. So how
Just
do
want to
we
make
get,
sure we
I
understand.
guess my question then is, how do we get there? If we, I guess James is saying, we don't know what the port wants to do, then how do we get there? Are we going to have the city manager and Kristen sit down and kind of come up with a plan on what this committee should do? It's been in existence for since 2009, if not way past that time. Would we leave that to you guys, or how are they going to capture the will of the council? If we leave it to them?
So I'll say, step one is understanding what's in the proposal. And I think that's the action that the city manager and the city attorney has. And until we understand that and then have some dialogue about it, there's really nothing, right?
Well, we all have it in our inboxes. You guys?
I saw it.
Yeah.
And it
So
was
you pretty much.
clear to me that
Yeah.
if you read it, that they don't want to have meetings.
Are we discussing
so,
it, or
yeah.
what are we doing?
So let's move back to,
I don't read it that way, but I think that's why we probably need to wait.
Can I
Yeah,
answer?
you can absolutely do that.
Because it does tie back to why I'm recommending the approach I'm recommending is that, to answer the question, I think the question was, who's going to make that decision? Is it going to be the city manager and the port CEO? And my recommendation is no. My recommendation is it's the council. But the challenge right now is I don't think the council has enough information to make that decision. including kind of just what was said is like, I think one question that has to be asked is what does the port want to keep meeting? And if so, what topics do they have? And then the council can talk about what topics there's agreement on.
Yeah, I think we should ask ourselves the same question.
Right.
Do we want to continue meeting? And if so, what topics do we want to
Right.
address?
Right.
So are we putting this off now till the next meeting?
So we're
or-
recommending making the 2 appointments so that we're in compliance with the agreement, but holding off until we at least understand the proposal on the rest. And I know that's complicated, like overly complicated. It's not ideal. That's where we were, initially we were hoping that we would have the offer in time to then be able to answer some of these questions tonight. But the way the timing worked out, I think tonight the thing we need to answer is the 2 people who will be on the committee.
Okay, that I didn't get
Yes.
Okay.
clear. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's do that.
Okay, so I think what we'll do right now is we will give an opportunity for anybody who is interested in being on the committee to state that they're interested.
I'm interested.
Anything else you want to share?
I think it's important that we do stick to the settlement agreement that we are in compliance with. So I agree with James that we need to pick 2 people because that's what the settlement agreement says. And we want to make sure that we're abiding by the settlement agreement until, it's still in effect. So it's important that we do.
I'm interested.
Okay, and I'm interested. And so, no one else? Okay, so is there a motion on the floor?
I move to approve the staff recommendations that we appoint 2 representatives.
Great, thank you. Is there,
I'll move to nominate Mayor and Councilmember Perez.
Can we just back up a moment, because I don't want conflicting motions on the floor. Councilmember Lopez, does your motion include particular nominees?
Well, my motion is with the staff recommendation, so then we can move into.
Right, but then
Let's-
I don't think we need a second to move forward, and then we'd have
Right,
multiple votes. So I think if you just consolidate into one motion to nominate the 2 individuals, that's all we need to do. That encompasses staff's recommendation.
Okay, so I withdraw my recommendation.
Okay.
Give a motion.
So then Councilmember Gama was going to move forward with one.
Yes, I'd like to move that we nominate Mayor Lejean and Councilmember Perez to serve on the committee.
So can I make a motion now?
I don't think
You can
they're
make
waiting
an
for
alternate
seconds.
motion.
So it'd be
I'll
a
second
second.
that.
Is there a second, though?
I second it.
Okay.
Okay, any public comments?
No public comments.
Okay,
Then was Councilmember Lopez making an alternate motion?
Yeah, I do have an alternate motion. The mayor pro tem, for the joint committee members.
I'll second that.
So alternate gets voted on
Right,
first.
so if there aren't any other ones, so then you would vote on the alternate motion first, the mayor and the mayor pro tem.
Madam Clerk?
Okay, this is for the mayor pro tem. Councilmember Gama,
No.
Councilmember Perez,
No.
Councilmember Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor pro tem Hernandez,
Yes.
and Mayor McQueen Lejean.
No.
Motion fails. 3-2 with Councilmembers
No
Gama,
discussion?
Perez,
Well, you've already had
yeah,
the vote.
and Mayor voting no.
And there's a second motion, right?
Second motion.
Now
There's a
second
second
motion.
motion.
This is for Mayor and Councilmember Perez as the representatives. Councilmember Gama,
Yes.
Councilmember Perez,
Yes.
Councilmember Lopez.
No.
Was that yes?
No.
No. Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez
No.
and Mayor McQueen Lejean.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-2 with Councilmember Lopez and Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez voting no.
That went so fast, I thought we'd have an opportunity to discuss.
You said the vote went fast? We
Yeah,
had,
yeah, we didn't have an opportunity to really discuss the merits of who serves on that committee, so.
You certainly can continue to discuss, and the parliamentary procedure does allow for a motion for reconsideration from any member in the voting majority.
All right, so then we're going to go on to the request for future items, none, and city manager comments and reports.
Thank you. We have a few items we wanted to highlight. I'll just take them else. Yeah, thank you. So we wanted to highlight a couple of recent happenings and then a couple coming up. And so we wanted to highlight, we were actually talking earlier about the baseball fields and the partnership with the Little League out there as well. And we wanted to highlight that we had this weekend the extra movie night that was a partnership between the city and the Little League. And so we had a good turnout out at the baseball fields. It was a good chance to show off our new baseball fields and park amenities. And they showed Angels on the Outfield, and it was Angels in the Outfield, and it was a good community event. So we want to thank everybody who made that happen. It was great because if everybody remembers, this summer we're talking about having 3 summer movies, and so it was a great partnership with the Little League to be able to add a 4th event as a partnership event. So.
Mr. Vega, were you there? Can I ask a question?
I was not there, but yes, you can answer a question.
Were there any complaints of mosquitoes?
None.
Oh,
No?
wow.
I was there.
Oh, okay, because the last time we were on, I was on that park, I was eaten up by mosquitoes.
It's actually really warm. It was like 78 degrees, very nice.
Yeah, it's funny, in the county, the state of the region report that goes out, I don't remember if they had it this year, but they used to have a mosquito section, and Hueneme was always the only city that didn't have, 0 reports of mosquitoes. And so
Because of the bubbling springs that we had at
the creek, yeah, that could be it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, wow. And so this is making me rethink this new location for this item, because we were happily announcing that Extravaganza's coming back on March 28th, and we're moving it to Bubbling Springs Park. So bring me your mosquito spray if you're headed out. But it is, we're moving it here. We have a few things we're working on in Miranda, including by then we're hoping to have the new playground in the works there, because we are wrapping up Bolker Park this week. And so we were gonna try out our extravaganza at Bubbling Springs Park, and we're actually hoping people like it better. It's just it worked great in Miranda too. So it'll begin. The event will be 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., but the egg hunt starts at 9:30 a.m. sharp. So we are inviting everybody to come attend Extravaganza this year. That event is another one that just gets better every year from our rec department. We also wanted to announce and invite everybody to join us on Wednesday, March 18th from 4 to 6 p.m. Here at City Hall in the front lawn. As we've announced our partnership with the West Ventura County Business Alliance, and we're excited that they've wanted to hold their next networking event here at our City Hall, and we are partnering with them to hold a ribbon cutting here at City Hall to commemorate this new partnership, and that to remind people that Port Hueneme is open for local business and supporting local business. So we invite everybody to join us later this month for that event.
Mayor, may I ask a
Sure.
question, please?
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you for sending this out today. I tried to use the QR code
Mhm.
to register, and it appears you have to have an account. And through the West Ventura County Business Alliance.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's not working.
We'll check that, and then I will say, usually our intent is that our events here at City Hall on the front lawn is we really hope people drop by either way. So, we're encouraging the RSVPs, but we're hoping people come and join
I
us.
respect people's requests for RSVPs, so I always
Yeah.
try to respond.
Okay, we'll check that out. So that's March 18th. And then we wanted to send our congratulations to our Port Hueneme Police Dispatcher, Nikki Scotty, who received the Ventura County Law Enforcement Crisis Intervention Team Officer of the Year, Dispatcher of the Year this year. And I wanted to thank both our dispatcher, Nikki Scotty, and congratulate her, and thank all of our dispatchers for the work they do, and the Ventura County Crisis Intervention Team for the work that they do as well. So. And then we wanted to send our congratulations to our Port Hueneme police officer, Zach Frum, who received the Sunny Horses for Kids. So I'm guessing, I think we all met Sunny, or some people have probably known him, but they had a big presence this year at our Beach Fest, so you may have met them this year. And so they're doing the Sunny Horses for Heroes Award that they are giving out monthly. In February, our officer, Zach Frum, was selected for all of his hard work. So we wanted to congratulate Officer Zach Frum as well. And then looking ahead to March 16th, we have actually quite a bit on the agenda for now. But we're planning to have the 2-on-1 presentation that we try to hold each year. We have police equipment purchase planned for consent. We're purchasing two things related to the police department. One is replacing radios that we're looking at, and then the other is replacing weapons now that there's this new that there's a sort of a countrywide issue related to the weapons that a lot of departments were previously using. So we're planning to bring, we may bring both or maybe one of those at a time over the next couple meetings. But we have that, the Safe Streets for All grant contract agreement, as we received a Safe Streets for All grant. We're asking for council approval of an application for a STEM program through the Diane Fresh Foundation. We started that last year and it worked well, so we're hoping to continue that. We're planning to bring an item to, each city has to have a building appeals board. We're planning to bring an item to appoint our building appeals board here at the city, and we're recommending it be the council, so we'll bring that item. And then we have two annual items. Each year, the Ventura County Animal Services contract has to be renewed, and we wanted to bring that to the council. And then this year, we expect that we're going to get a lot of, all the memberships we have will have, everybody's sort of dealing with rising costs, and so there tends to be, hopefully small increase every year. It seems like some of them right now with the way costs are increasing, some increases are larger than others. But as we go through that process and we get the invoices from each of these groups that we join, we're planning to bring those as consent items so that the council and the public are aware of those fees that we pay, and then the council can approve that and any budget adjustment that we need to do for any potential changes. And then we expect to have an out-of-state travel request, I think, from our housing department as well, so we'll explain that. So lengthy consent agenda, and some of those, as we work on them, if they get more complicated, they may become business items, but for now they're planned to be consent. And then we have a public hearing for a major modification of a planning permit for 294 Whitecap. So that is something that our community development team will be bringing forward. And then we have 3 business items planned. The request related to the park reservation process, we'll bring that update back from last year. We have our annual general plan update that we provide each year before April 1st. We're required to do an annual general plan update, and then a mid-year budget update to just do the budget adjustments that are needed at the mid-year. So lengthy agenda, but all good stuff. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions, and that is my presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, just one question. I noticed that the crime stats are out. We normally have the chief do a presentation. Will he be doing that again this year?
Yes, we're planning for the first meeting in April, so the meeting after this one we just discussed.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions? No. Okay, we'll move on to council member reports and comments. Councilmember Lopez?
Yeah, I did attend the Economic Development Coalition. I did bring back the small business loan program. I sent it to city manager. I'm thinking that it's something that we should probably consider, and I may bring a future agenda item as we can have the EDC CEO brief the council on how we can prop up this program if we can get it. Just to see the options that are available to, for small business loans within the city of Port Hueneme. So that's going to take some coordination. I'll see if I can do some of that legwork. And thank you to the Parks and Recs. That was a pretty good showing. I never saw Angels in the Outfield, and it was a really good movie. So the weather was great. There was actually a baseball game going on the other field, so it was kind of semi-lit. But when the game ended, it was just a perfect event. So hats off to Parks and Recs. That's all I got.
Great, thank you, Councilmember.
I have nothing. Thank you.
Today we had an executive committee meeting with Beacon, and we made some recommendations. I don't think I could report out on it, but I just wanted to mention that we had a really good meeting today. And then all of us have been given a copy of this book, and somebody went to great expense and time. And what I understand is like this book is being distributed to all the electeds in the state, county, or whatever. But anyways, I read the book, and it made me want to compliment our city manager because if you recall, when our city manager came here, we were going full steam ahead with the bubbling springs, lights, soccer field, skate park, destination playground at the beach. And our new city manager in his first meeting had the courage to tell us, you guys can't afford it. And so this book is a really, really good read, not because it's exciting, but because it's very educational about, you know, staying grounded into what we're here for. And we're here to spend taxpayers' dollars. So I hope everybody gets it.
Add responsibility to
Well,
it.
okay.
Yeah. Spend
Well,
tax
and
dollars responsibly.
okay, I should add that, right? Yes, we want to be responsible with the taxpayer dollars, and I think this book is an effort to try to help us do that. And it's a good read. And again, I was able to tie it into some of the great things that we did here. And then realizing that our finance department got an award recently, it even makes me feel better. So I encourage everybody to read it. That's it.
Thank you, Mayor. Attended my SCAG meeting, VCOG, VCREA. I think I mentioned that the Ventura County Regional Energy Alliance is looking to transition to a new organization, but in the, I think they're going to have climate in their title, but it'll be essentially the same people. And they do, in the meantime, plan to do the Energy Champion meetings alternatively from the regular board meetings. So they'll just alternate them on months. The Energy Champion meetings are really the worker bees, like Jose Coyote, who attends on our behalf of our city. That's where you really learn about what's going on in the around the county on energy and climate change. So I attended the Mini Mansions bowl of soup. Yeah, we missed you there. It was fun.
I know, I tried.
And SCE Advisory Committee, I forgot I was on that, but they don't have their meetings too often, so I attended that. And RDP-based meetings are still going on. I think you mentioned a travel request on your next agenda. Is that the travel request for DC, or is that something else?
No, it's the one on the agenda is a training for an employee.
Oh, okay.
So, no.
So we'll probably need to get the RDP one on there soon, because April 21st is
Okay.
and I don't know yet if the mayor's going, but I do plan to go.
You said
And-
April 21st.
Pardon?
You're going to go at the end of the week?
Well, the week of, that week.
Because it's the 19th through the 23rd.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, that week.
Okay.
Mhm. And I also attended the EO Green Black History Month. It was a lot of fun. They had a great band there, and then Councilman Gama and the mayor were there as well. And yeah, everybody's trying to dance with our hurt knees. And then I did attend the Gold Coast Transit District Oxnard Connects public hearing, outreach meeting at the South Oxnard Community Center. And I encourage all council members to go, if you have the opportunity to attend, because I think there are some impacts that this plan will have on our city. One as early as July 1st with the bus traffic. They're going to be increasing J Street traffic with buses every 20 minutes, which is good, but we need to be ready for it. So I think it'd be worthwhile for council members to attend that hearing and see what kind of issues you can pick out of that this new plan. Some of the planning objectives won't happen or be accomplished like 10 years from now, but some are happening rather quickly. And then the hazardous materials discussion that we had earlier brought to mind the inhalant tank that was left behind in the city council office in the cupboard. And then Councilman Gama, you showed up with it at the Board of Supervisors meeting. You used it as a prop. Where is it now? I wonder. Because that needs to be properly disposed of. It doesn't belong. It doesn't belong
Well,
in the cupboard of our. And I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying that.
It's empty, and you know, those things are deposited in the trash. Believe it or not.
Yeah, but that's not the right way.
No, it is the right way.
Go ahead.
I don't believe so, but anyway,
Check it
if
out.
we can possibly get those disposed of properly, I know I see them all over. Nobody wants to touch them because they got to pay for them to dispose, so. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Attending my regular meetings, I did want to just mention, Council, Mayor Pro Tem and I have been attending the RDP base meetings in preparation for the DC trip. I will be going, I'll make a short trip to DC, so we'll be providing you all that information. I did want to thank Madam Clerk for preparing those certificates for the Seroptimus International Scholarship recognition, and then for the annual debutante ball that was this weekend. So thank you so much for that. I did want to say that the Seroptimus Scholarship recognition was an awesome event. They were awarding scholarships to 3 women who are head of the household, meaning they're raising their kids, and they have decided to go back to college. And so they're doing really, really well. It was great stories of perseverance, really. And so I was so excited to be there. I did also attend the CB Ball on Saturday, and thanks to Commodore Santiago, who's the Naval Construction Group 1 commander, who has just announced recently his retirement. So I had a great time. I will be participating March 4th, which is this Thursday, I think, in the Read Across America event at Sunkist Elementary. And then on Saturday, I'll be attending both the Little League season opening and the Port's first robotics event. And then finally, on some of my committees, I've had some discussions with the executive directors or managers or officers of the committees. And so I'll be talking with you, James, about maybe getting some time for them to come and present to the city, so we can talk about that.
Great.
And then I did a wonderful event at through Kowloon, but it was hosted at Oxnard College. It was the National Trio Day celebration. I never knew anything about that, just learning about it now, but they had the legendary Dolores Huerta, is that how you say her last name? 95 years old, was the keynote speaker. She was actually interviewed by Supervisor Lopez. Wow. Great, great, great event. So that's all I have, but I just wanted to remind us that Bobby Martinez asked for a sister city to be added to an agenda, so just wanted to say that out loud, so you'll have that.
Yeah, and we talked about this a couple meetings ago, but so obviously we have the process for individual council members to make requests, but that doesn't stop the council from all agreeing to put something on an agenda. So if the council's in agreement on putting, I think it would just be scheduling a presentation from them, which is pretty simple and not any staff time. So if there's agreement to do that, we can just do that.
Do you need an official vote?
No, I don't
Okay.
think so. No.
Are
Yeah,
we, are we
no,
all in
yeah.
agreement?
Yeah.
So is there a motion and a second to add that to the agenda?
We don't need a vote unless you want to take a
Look,
vote.
I'm looking at the city attorney.
Hey, our city
Okay.
attorney.
You can do it either way. The Brown Act
Okay.
allows for adding
Okay.
Confusing.
Is
future
there-
agenda items.
Okay, great. Is there any opposition to having a presentation from the sister city? Any opposition? I don't see any opposition. Okay.
Okay, so we'll work with them on that.
And I did want to mention, I was planning on going to the soup thing, but at the last minute, our district, Southern California District for Lions Club, our club got nominated as Club of the Year out of our district. So I had to run down to Long Beach in hopes of, and then my husband and I got nominated as volunteer couple of the year. So I had to run down and hopefully, we didn't win, Los Angeles took it, but I was happy to be nominated. So I tried to get back, it was that morning, I asked my husband, can we go quickly? I'm supposed to be at the mini mansion soup thing, and we didn't make it in time.
Well, that's a nice reason to miss.
Yeah.
Yes, and I forgot to mention that I am going to be reading to students on Wednesday and Friday with the Lions Club, and that's such an enjoyable thing to do. So there's a Take 5, and then we have this Lions Club reading activity
Read
coming up.
Across America.
Yeah.
So yeah, can't wait.
Is there anything else? Any other comments? If not, we're going to adjourn tonight's meeting. The time is now 8:46. We'll meet again on Monday, March 16th at 6:30 PM.
Since you did, you should give that to your